unfortunately I've tried to film this video a couple of times and the noise, stop it, just takes over. So you can hear me, hopefully. We'll be running with this one. So this video is highly requested, I don't blame them, on how I got my horses, meet my horses, stuff like that. So I'm just gonna have a wee chit chat with these guys, try not keep these too long on the miraculous Ebs today, and we'll be moving on to Ruby some other day. So I have a big pocket full of treats to keep her head out. I have a lick over there, and let's get started. This is Ebony. Ebony is 11 this 2020 year coming, and I've had Ebony from 2016. So we were both only little babies. She was 5. I was just turning 16. So it was a big jump. This was my first proper horse, and how we got her is kind of funny. So I had another horse that I got when it was a 3-year-old, and I broke her in, got stuff like that, but we just weren't really getting on that well, so I was ready to sell that one, and she went to a fantastic home that I can still see her in. She's brilliant. But I was kind of looking for something different, and my mom's horse unfortunately had died that summer, and this was in February, and she was really looking for something to ride that was kind of sensible, kind of quiet, kind of, you know, something that would suit. So our wonderful trainer said, hey, there's Ebony, do you want to have a wee go on her? She'll be loads of fun, etc. So we looked at her, and I was like, oh, she's a bit cobby, she's a bit meh. And Mom was like, no, she's really nice, I really like her. So this is how this started. She wasn't meant for me at all. So the lady we bought Ebony off she's lovely, we love her to bits, but she was quite nervous, and she purchased Ebony as a 4-year-old down the country from a show yard. They didn't really want her because she was too cobby for them. So Ebony is half draft, half cob. They want her as like a working hunter, and she just didn't fit that bill. So unfortunately they sold her, and she just really wanted to hack and stuff like that. She didn't really want to like compete her or anything, and she had got into this really bad habit of turning on a hack and just turning and going home, and like the lady was scared of her and said like, this is too dangerous, like I'm home with this. So I was like, alright, okay, I'll take her for a couple of weeks, ride her, see how she goes, and if she's not right for Mom, we'll sell her on and I'll eventually get another horse. So it was never meant for me, but fairly quickly we realised she was something special, and we didn't really want to get rid of her, and I didn't really want to give her up. So what happened was I kept her as my wonderful horse. So Ebs here became my number one now. She wasn't without a few lovely little habits that all of them have for a little bit of character, but she really did come across. We still hack to this day, and she still tries to turn around to the day, but it's fine as long as I'm hacking her and I know what's going to happen. We can just trot there and turn around and walk home, and she's fine. So our first competition, we don't have any pictures from because we never made it into the ring. She had a freak attack in this warm-up arena that I still to this day have never had any luck in. But she's went back there now, but she had a freak attack in the warm-up and booked, and I got scared, and we were like, why did we ever buy this horse? And it was just awful. So I trotted her around the car park until she calmed down, went into the warm-up arena, jumped the tiniest little cross, and went home. That was it. That's as far as we went, and we were like, why did we buy her? So a few weeks later we took her to our more local show. It was a little bit quieter, and we jumped, I think, 60s. Insert pictures here. I'm going to be putting in any pictures that I have into this video, so I'm not going to like talk about them because I don't know what I have and what I don't, so I'll just be like inserting them somewhere. But we got cleared, she was really good, and that kind of started our little bond together. So we competed and just kind of really bonded over 2016. We never really did anything too exciting, we just kind of bonded and stuff. and we jumped up to 90s. I was doing intermediate and riding club. At this stage, I think the second half of the year and into 2017, we were up to the 90s, and we were going great. We were loving life. And then in pony club, I went to do the intermediate test and combined training, which is a meter, our first ever meter. And I was terrified. I laughed at the judge. We had a great time. I was like, oh, just don't pass any remarks. I'm not going to be anything exciting, because we hadn't done that much dressage training. We hadn't done anything exciting. I wasn't expecting anything. And we actually qualified for Dublin on our first ever meter. So that was fun, Ed. So we did realise that it was going to be in the Work and Hunter ring, and I hit cross country and stuff like that. So it really took us a minute to like go, right, okay, we're going to have to learn to jump cross country fences. So we, over 2017 summer, we had about 7 weeks to get ready. We did dressage camps and did Work and Hunter and everything that we could, didn't we? And we went to Dublin. So here is inserting some of our cross country pictures. We have loads of cross country pictures from 2017, none from any other year, because I hate cross country, not my thing. I take notions of it, but not my thing. So we went to Dublin. We did our dressage test and we got a really, really good score. We were sitting, I think, second or third into the show jumping, and we had 2 down in the show jumping, so that dropped us out of the rankings. But we had a great time. I would never change it for the world, and it's been the highlight of our years, really. Say that we went from a year of jumping cross poles to jumping our first meter and qualified for Dublin. It really was a dream come true. So after Dublin, I went into my Leaving Cert year. So those who aren't in Ireland, it's my last year of school, and Ebony really was there for more pressure relief and just more calming, and she did an amazing job with that. We just went to different little competitions. We didn't do anything terribly exciting. We just kind of moseyed about and had a great time, and then by 2018 we went to a one-day event in riding club and actually qualified for the one-day event championship. So we went down to Carlow, and that was our last ever event until I went to Scotland. So I went to Scotland in college in 2018, and my fantastic trainer and my mom and everybody kept her going for me, and she just was amazing. And we used to come home and I'd ride her one day and compete her in a 110 the next day, and she just was fantastic. We did amateur Balmoral qualifiers, which unfortunately we had 1 down in, so we didn't get into Balmoral. We were never expecting to get into Balmoral, but we did go there and work in Hunter that year. We did a couple of 110s. We never went any higher than 110. We just kind of had fun, and that was my coming home to have fun, and everything was fantastic. Had a brilliant time, and I really didn't want to leave her. So when I decided to stay at home in 2019, kind of everything was going good until 2019. So what happened in 2019 is we took her to the RDS qualifiers for the riding club. She had been going well, but she had a little bit of stiffness problem every now and again. Nothing major, she just likes to be outside, and she must have slipped in the fields, we think, or was running in the fields and slipped, or something happened. And we took her to the RDS qualifiers, and something happened, and we don't know what, still don't know what to this day, but she stopped in fence 3, which she never does. She never, unless it's my fault and I'm just riding her stupidly, she'll never stop. She'll go over anything, she'll try anything. That's not in her personality. And we kind of went home that day and we're like, we're not sure what happened. So I fell off and we got eliminated, and we just kind of went home and we're like, okay, like, let's just stretch her out, let's not jump for a while and see how it goes. And we took her to our riding club festival in Mullingar, which we had a great time. We got a great dressage score. We did a dressage test, and Mom did a dressage test on her, and we were going to jump her that evening. And in the warm-up, she just felt really, really off, really not forward into the jumps like she normally is, as you can see from previous videos and stuff. She's really forward into fences. She never doesn't want to go into a fence. And on the second fence, first fence she kind of clattered over, and the second fence she just didn't make it over it, and I fell off, and we kind of were like, okay, something's wrong, because that's not her. So we took her to the vet couldn't see if anything was wrong. We took her to the dentist, there was nothing wrong with her teeth, and the back lady came and relaxed all her muscles, and her pelvis was out. So she obviously had hurt her pelvis at some stage. We think it was before the Riding Club RDS qualifier, and it just was so sore she couldn't jump. So she went on box rest for 2 or 3 weeks, and then she went on field rest for another 3 weeks, and then she was brought back really slowly. We were told not to put her in a box for any longer than 30 minutes. Don't make her stand any longer than 30 minutes. She has to walk, she has to rest, she has to stretch out after she's been jumped, she has to walk and things like that. And eventually the muscles came back really good, so we started on 80s. This was the start of the end of 2019, the start of 2020. So we started on 80s. We had jumped maybe 1 round of 90s, and lockdown hit this year. So when lockdown hit, we just took it as a sign that we should just have fun at home and just really enjoy her. So that's what we did. We did a few home courses and stuff like that, and jumped around, and jumped some barrels, and just played about. And then at the start, as things opened up, we kind of were like, right, okay, we'll take her to a few rounds of jumping. We jumped a couple of rounds of 90s, jumped a couple of rounds of the meter. We haven't been fantastic yet, but we're just getting back into it, because it really took a lot of our connection away when she started stopping. Like, I didn't trust her as much as I used to, and we just kind of had to fall back in love. So we're starting to do that. We're starting to get a bit better. We've had 1 clear round of the year, but Ebs is never known for clear rounds. Ebs is there for a good time. She always makes me smile. She always gives it her all, and if the fences are up at the end of it, fences are up. If they're not, you still come out with a massive smile on your face, because she just tries so hard, and she just is an amazing horse, and we're so glad to have her, and we're so glad to still have her. And she's taught my wonderful fiance how to ride. She's taught 2 little girls to ride. She's still teaching them. She's having the greatest fun with Jason. She's having the greatest fun with Mom, and everybody just is there to enjoy her, and she just is there to have a great time on, and she is the love of our lives. She'll never be going anywhere, because no matter how grumpy she gets, she's still ours, and she's just amusing. So that is Ebony. We are going into year number 5 with Ebs, which is fantastic. Hard to believe, but we've had her 5 years, but I think we'll be having her another 5 after that. So happy, and thanks guys for listening, and I hope you have enjoyed this. We will be doing rubies soon, and maybe more horses that I've had over the years, that some that standed out for good reasons, some that standed out for bad reasons, but I think Ebs is always going to be a part of our lives no matter what happens. So bye guys.